I just like learning, and this is the best e-ink platform for reading to learn. You couple the Kindle Scribe with Kindle Unlimited, you're away on a world of knowledge. It is good value too. The device itself can be had for around £300, which is really good value for an incredible e-ink screen with a whack-on pen stylus. It is always trying to sell you things, of course, because, well, even though it doesn't come with ads, on the homepage is a constant barrage of new things to read, which is a good thing, but also is somewhere else that you're going to spend some more money. I haven't read this book, so I don't know why it's recommending me any of this. Kindle Unlimited is an absolute wealth of reading, which I'm certainly satisfied by. And you know, learning is the best way out of a funk, and if you're not feeling great about your professional life and work, then there's nothing better than going back armed with a new strategy, a new piece of learning that makes you feel rejuvenated. So that's my recommend to you if you are having a bad time at work, which we all get from time to time. Actually going back and doing a bit of professional learning, giving yourself new skills and new ideas to bring with you into work can give you a new enthusiasm for work. So I just got back into Kindle reading recently in the hope that it would just kind of wean me away from my reliance on Audible books. And although Audible books in the commute are really good and it's a great way to consume content, the actual physical act of reading, especially whilst making notes, is an incredibly powerful way to learn new things. And you know, it worked. I'm reading much more now. In my original review for the Kindle, I stated it like this, and I think it is accurate. This is currently the best Kindle, but it's also the best e-ink tablet purely as a reader. That is accurate. It does excel amongst its competitors for that reading use case. And as long as you pair it with Kindle Unlimited, and there is a link in the description for that, then you do have a truly unlimited source of things to read. Now you've also got the option to use it as your notebook. And this for me is the main use case for e-ink tablets, for notes and for planning, importantly. This is how I use it for planning. I make a custom template, which I've built in Word, and it has 2 weeks of my timetable. And it's also hyperlinked through, so I can skip about to any page, to any day, just from any other page. But there are loads of PDF planners available on Etsy, or My Daily Organizer is a good shout from Voya, My Deep Guide, and that has a whole year's worth of planning all hyperlinked together so that you can plan at the annual level or monthly level or quarterly level or weekly or daily level as well. It's a great product that he's made. I'll just say before I go on, there is some slight weird discrepancy with the Kindle Scribe and PDFs, and it does somewhat jump around the hyperlinks, so they're not always in exactly the same place, although this one does seem to have come perfectly fine and it is going to the right day for each one, so that is absolutely fine on this one. And that's because if you really want to write on a PDF, what you have to do is send it up to the cloud and you have to import it that way rather than just plug it in and send it via cable from your computer. That's a bit frustrating. What it actually does is it actually encodes it as its own file format, its own kind of Kindle PDF file format, if you like. But then you can write on it and it works perfectly well. If this is really appealing to you, then well, you don't really need my planner. It's just a table with my timetable in it. You can actually go ahead and get any PDF planner that you like, and you can maybe edit that itself to make it more your own planner. For me, this works really well because it's just kind of one document for each fortnight, and I don't then have a massive document which maybe might take a bit of time to load eventually or might get a little bit buggy, and I'm not trusting my entire year's planning to one document, and that's something I think you should think about before you go ahead and make a planner here. But maybe if you did find a PDF planner that you like, then maybe having a way to actually edit it to make it your own. You might be like the format, you maybe like the style, but you want to actually put your own timetable into it. Then one way you could do that would be to use an app like today's sponsor, which is UPDF. UPDF stands for Universal, Productive, Delightful and Fast. The app on an Android or iOS, you can read and you can annotate, but in the full desktop app, you can edit everything. You can move, edit and reformat text. You can resize or replace images, and you can even do optical character recognition, OCR. You can fill out forms and you can combine files into one PDF. And you can even add security. So I use this modified PDF for my 2-week timetable, but there are loads of different PDF planners available, and if you had a PDF planner template that you liked, you could edit it in UPDF without having to have the original Word file. And then you could make a PDF template for everything that you wanted to plan here on the Kindle Scribe or your e-ink tablet of choice. Go ahead and check out the link in the description and the pinned comment, because right now you can get 50% off UPDF, and you can use one license across all of Android, Windows, Mac or iOS. That's how to make the Kindle Scribe more of a universal reader and organizer. organizer. Let's talk more about reading though, because that is the main use of this device. The Kindle Scribe is a really desirable option for anyone who's read and learn first and productivity kind of second priority, if that's the way your professional brain is organized. And I must say that I'm becoming more inclined towards that attitude. This habit of sharpening the saw, which is one of Stephen Covey's 7 habits, and he talks about it as being one of the most important habit of highly successful people. But that's one that we forget when we get trapped in this cycle of toxic productivity, always having to put things out there, always having to do more. When you feed your head, when you build your skills, then that's when you improve as a professional. And if you think back, I bet that you were pretty motivated about your job at one point, and that probably coincided when you were having to learn how to be good at it. Hopefully you still are motivated, of course. If you're not, then it might be because you feel kind of stuck, maybe you feel it's easy, maybe your skills match too closely the challenges and you aren't getting pushed by it. When it was a challenge, you were keen, but now it's old and you're older too. But by reading and learning, you find out what new ideas there are out there. What ideas can you get your professional brain stuck into? And what new learning will you do that will actually feed your brain and you'll walk back into that office with that kind of swagger that you used to have. I'm just finding this type of device to be pretty spot on for that type of reading, and you can see in my library more professional type of reading. Of course, I've got my kids' books in here as well on Audible for the car and for her on her Kindle. I didn't get this book, I have no idea about the Song of the Forever Rains, but I must have accidentally clicked on that at one point. But you see it's things like Business of Stories for this YouTube channel, you can see it's Rose and Shines, you can see it's retrieval practice, lesson planning, how to write clearly, all the kind of learning things. That's what I like Kindle for. The nice thing is that when you read this type of book and when you habitually actually do the tasks that they kind of give you at the end of it, sort of questions they've asked you, and you make notes as you go, that you apply that reading straight into your own situation. So this is about brand stories, and as I'm completing these tasks, I'm applying it to my own context, thinking about how these ideas fit in my own YouTube channel, my own brand, if you like. Now, I don't use the sticky note function. The sticky note is this thing. There's been a lot been said. I want to actually annotate straight on my Kindle page. I don't want to have to go sticky note, put a sticky note down. I don't use this sticky note function because the sticky note just exists as this tiny little icon here on the page. What I use is just highlight. So just with a hand, select the thing I want, then you get the option in the notes of either a handwritten note or a text note. And of course I'm just going handwritten note, and then I've got a highlight which is pulled through to the summary at the end. I want the pencil in this bit. Here are my annotations. So now I've got the text that I highlighted and my handwritten annotation all pulled through into one document that I can now export, and I can send it to myself as a PDF, which is very nice. So for that, it's really, really good. It's not comfortable for reading in bed though. It's not the one to go for if you want a evening reader. It's not the one to go for. Probably better to go for the Kindle Paperwhite or something in the smaller Kindle size for that. It's too heavy and also too thin, so you don't get a comfortable feeling of holding it in one hand. I would strongly suggest you're either going to go for a case, which is going to give you a little bit more of a kind of bulky feel to it, a bit more ergonomic, or you're going to make it your desktop reader, or sitting on the sofa is a very nice way to read with it as well, not lying back. So when you do this, when you actually work for a book like this that has these questions, you've got the highlighted text which comes through, and you've got your response to that. So you get this document which is a bit like question and then your own answer. You've got this document where in your reading you have applied this to your own context. So lots of people have complained that they really want to write directly into the Kindle book and the margins. And I don't mind Kindle's decision to stop you doing that really. I don't think it's ideal. The way that Kobo solved that was to actually have a sort of saved view. Whichever Zoom you had it on, whichever view you had it on and you did your original notes, it would remember that. When you changed the size of the font and you clicked into the note, it just showed you what the page looked like when you made that annotation. That works, that's absolutely fine. Kindle could have included that. That would be perfect, but they didn't, and I'm not too worried about that because this gives you a bit more room in any case to make a sort of fuller handwritten note, and it lives at the right point and you can see it linked to the highlight. I'm not too worried about that. You can annotate directly on their version of PDFs, but then you won't be able to add a page or a full page of notes within that PDF anyway. In their version of PDFs, you can't select text like this and actually write next to it. So if you are using this for reading and learning, I would expect to use it in this way. You make a highlight and you make a handwritten note with it. I wouldn't expect to use it in any other way, and I wouldn't hold my breath for Kindle to bring that via updates. So I have to say that I am reading much more since I got back into Kindle, and it's the Kindle Scribe that's done that. The Kindle Paperwhite is really nice, I do enjoy that as a reader, but it is really the Kindle Scribe as a device which has got me back into reading physically. I like that. I also do love the link between Kindle Unlimited and Audible. I don't mind being in Amazon's ecosystem of books, at least. Amazon, when it started, remember, was a bookstore. There's just so much content to enjoy. I asked you on my community tab which one of these libraries was the best, and it did come out in fact that most people found the Kindle library to be I'm going to try out some other libraries and I'll get back to you on that, so let me know if there's a library that you really want to see featured in that. Kindle, Kobo, Scribed and Readly, and I'll let you know what I think of all those.